All right, y'all, today we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business. Going to see for its local search, see for its city search if either of them, any of them got BSS. So we're here in the GBC universe. We're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, pinned profile, pinned post, whatever. That's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So if we're bringing in people from the entire intent ladder, highest intent on the left to lowest intent on the right, boudoir photographer business is rising. And if we're not doing that, boudoir photographer business is falling. Pretty simple. Over on the left here, we talk about BSS. So the videos here, it's the highest intent peeps. People search for boudoir photo shoots on Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So highest intent search, closest to the money. We want to dominate that first. And over at the end, BLCS, that's our other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where right now we only work with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. So that's some other profiles out there in the universe. So BSS is boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So if we got 0 slots on page 1, we're hurting, we're screwed. Because I mean, we're on page 2 or 3 or somewhere later. And we also know that approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page 2. They're page 1 only, they stay on page 1. So this is the bulk of people searching. The bulk of searchers, approximately 80% of all searches. So we actually want to cater this approximately 80% bulk. This is the bulk of the market. We don't care about the 20% that go to page 10. We don't care. Let's be the best in the universe at capturing these 80% that stay on page 1. So 0 slots, bad. 1 slot is bad because then, dude, we're looking the same as everyone else. We're, if we got 9 other competing boudoir photographers on our, on page 1, okay, they got 9, buyers are just clicking down, going down every, clicking every link open on, sending a message to every single person, getting a quote from everyone. And we're not standing out at all. They probably don't even reckon, they don't even remember our name. They're just clicking through all 10, us and 9 other competing boudoir photographers. So this is a diagnosis. It's the most common diagnosis actually I've seen with across all boudoir photography businesses. Also, 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's not normal to have that small number of slots on Google. This is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. These 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone knows about, and the false belief of page 1 equality, which basically nobody knows about. So market saturation, obviously, more boudoir photographers entering the market seemingly every week. Every time anyone gets a new iPhone, they're sending out their Google My Business profile saying they now shoot boudoir, or they're, saying, they got their website, they're competing for page 1, maybe even giving on page 1, and kicking us off, or they're getting, getting a new camera, and now they're posting them on Facebook groups saying they also shoot boudoir. So more and more boudoir photographers are always entering the market. That's never going to change. And so that's market saturation. Everyone's used to that. COVID had a massive blast of that. People needed to earn income, couldn't work, and now actually needed to became boudoir photographers. So massive glut of boudoir photographers entered the market. The one that almost nobody knows about is the false belief of page 1 equality. So page 1 equality is basically assuming, everyone, everyone gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 of Google. More photographers come in, they might kick me off page 1. Now I got 1 slot on page 2, but that's how it is. It is what it is. It is how it is. And hopefully maybe I get back, someone leaves, someone shuts off their website, I go back to page 1, or maybe I go on to page 3 eventually. And it's just kind of something people accepted. But this is a false belief. And I know that because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google in 10 days. So I know Google will give us as many slots on page 1 as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And so I feel like most people there's never been a word for this, the false belief, for page 1 equality. People just there's never been a word to describe it. So I feel like people haven't really thought about whether they believe in it yes or believe in it no. But people's actions have told me it seems like people just have accepted it, right? Because they never, I don't know, had explicitly a word to say, oh, do I believe in that or not? So, and also this false belief of page one equality has been the number one killer of boudoir photography businesses that I have ever seen. People get relegated to page two, they disappear. They're, pretty quickly after their business disappears because referrals only last for so long. You can only spend so much ad money. CAC, customer acquisition cost, always goes up over time. It's the new people that have never heard about us yet that always, always, always sustain a business. We also know that a boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Because if we're from page two, we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never hit in page two. So we're disappearing, and pretty fast after that, our business will be disappearing as well from existence. And if we got one slot on page one, well, that's the scariest number on page one because we are one person could kick us off to page two if they take our slot. And also, we look the same as the other nine. If there's other 9 slots or 9 boudoir photographers, we look the same. Nothing special. They're clicking through all the links, contacting everyone, price shopping everyone. And so it's like 0 or 1, most likely disappearing. For 0 1, both local and city search. So we got our universe building up here. Disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the 2 horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. But luckily, BSS, boudoir search sameness, is treated with social search saturation. So our SQs methodology is our proprietary solution we've created. And been mastering it, building it over about the last 7 months. And ready to bring it to market. And with SQs methodology, we can actually take it as many page one Google slots as we actually want for whichever keywords we want. Instead of Google PPC, you get 1 extra text ad. Okay, who cares? Dude, we want to hit the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 organic slots and up, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this SQ methodology, it's social search saturation. So we saturate social search first. And then once we saturate social search, Google recognizes that and it flows to us saturating page one of Google search. So page one Google search is actually the byproduct of saturating social search. And this is actually this is the only thing I've seen that actually is able to successfully fight back against market saturation. So imagine we're in Topeka, Kansas, where one boudoir photographer we got. It's 1 million total boudoir photographers competing in this city. Everyone's got their own website. Everyone's ranking or trying to rank page one on Google. But we crank SQ's methodology to the max. When we crank SQ's methodology to the max, let's say we saturate social search, the first 300 slots for the highest intent keywords across all social platforms. And also, as a result, we capture the first 300 slots organic per Google. Well, there's 10 organic slots per page on Google, so that's literally the first 30 pages that we saturate. So when anyone that ever look for a boudoir photographer in our city, anywhere they look, they search on social or they search on Google, we're basically the only one that they can find, even though there are literally 999,999 other boudoir photographers. And so whose business is growing? Ours, even though our market saturation has never been higher. And our business has never been growing faster because we capture so much, search intent or so many search slots. And so again, this is the only solution that I've seen that is able to successfully fight back against market saturation. Obviously, more market saturation, the more you got to crank the SQ's methodology. But at least we finally got something. Finally got something that gives us some hope. Now, once our BSS is treated with SQ's methodology, we have page one visibility. So we kind of escape market saturation and the false belief of page one equality, and we achieve page one visibility. Now, a bonus of this is we're kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. So yeah, dude, every new slot we take on page one on Google, we're kicking a boudoir photographer out of there, relegating them to page two or deeper. And we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page two. So that's literally 80%, the bulk of the market. It's never going to see them on Google. And same if we do, across all social search platforms. So this is a bonus of doing using the S-cubed methodology, kind of reducing the amount of boudoir photographers we're being price shopped against, or buyers even know exist. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So we're no longer at 0 slots on page one or 1 slot on page one. Technically, we can do it with two slots on page one, but we won't get to the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 for local search and city search. Now, with Boudoir search visibility, if we can get to 3, that's kind of our big hump we want to get over, because we're definitely going to stand out more than all the other boudoir photographers that have 1 slot on page 1 on Google. And there'll be times when another boudoir photographer will have 2 slots on Google, page 1 on Google. But if we got 3, I mean, we're dwarfing everyone. So we finally achieved page, it activates boudoir search visibility for us. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer. So this is our universe. We got, disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. Is caused by the 2 horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. That's fine. We got a solution now. S-cubed methodology. And we achieve page 1 visibility. So we overcome market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. To achieve page 1 visibility, become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. So I'm going to look at me using a S-cubed methodology here. I want to rank for the term BLCS boudoir. And come down to organic. Got Instagram slot 1, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So in 10 days, I went from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google. And again, this is the only solution I've ever seen that can successfully outcompete market saturation. And it has its own, has its own momentum to it. Where ads, if you stop spending into them, momentum instantly drops to 0. That's on Google and on Facebook. Now the main event here, we're gonna check out this boudoir photography business, check out its local search, city search, see if we got any BSS, see if we're in the GBC recommended minimums. All right, so we're going to Henderson, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, let's see, Henderson, Nevada. All right, so let's see what we got. Nope. Nope. All right, we got 0 out of 10 for Henderson, Nevada, so we got BSS there. And now we're going to Las Vegas. All right, let's go. All right, so let's check this. All right, we got 1. There we go. Boom, we got 1. All right, so we got 1 out of 10. All right, so going back to our, all right, so local search, Henderson, what's that? Is that part of Las Vegas? I believe that's my best guess. So we're at 0 out of 10 slots there. So we got BSS, we're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots, page 1, Google search. Las Vegas, we got 1 out of 10. So we still do have BSS with boudoir search sameness. And we also are not meeting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 of Google search. All right, so if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, we've done your local search, your city search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords. You've seen that you got BSS for 1 or both, or you're not meeting the GBC recommended minimum 3 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google for either 1 or both of them. And you have broken through and accepted the false belief of page 1 equality. So now you agree and believe with the truth that Google will actually give as many page 1 slots on Google as one wants to put in the effort to acquire. And you're saying that, oh, you've been looking exactly for something like this, and S-cubed methodology is exactly what you were looking for this entire time. And you're liking the, you're liking the initial benefits, basically like more page 1 slots on Google, and even more kicking other competitors off page 1 on Google, making them invisible. And so you like those initial benefits. You're understanding the market saturation. Yeah, more peeps, get new gear over time, more boudoir photographers over time, same number of buyers, harder for every single boudoir photographer. You got that. And you're looking ahead, understanding AI, seeing that it's already taken peeps' jobs, and you're realizing, okay, well, last time it's happened with COVID, it forced more boudoir photographers into the market because people don't have jobs, but they still got to earn money, and everyone's got a high-powered smartphone with awesome camera, so pretty easy to fire up a Google Maps or website saying they shoot boudoir now and compete with everyone else. And as a result, you actually realize you need this other hidden benefit, which is you actually need to fortify your position on page one with all these people coming that will be coming when AI is taking more and more people's jobs to force them to become boudoir photographers because they still need money, still need to earn money. And as a result, you're now looking for strategies to fortify your position on page one where no new people that get new gear can rank page one in your area, and no people that lose their job due to AI and want to become boudoir photographers uh, can neither rank page one on Google against you. So you're saying, how do you fortify yourself? You're saying, oh, S-cubed methodology is the only solution you see out there that can help you fortify that. Kind of like you have like backup links in the waiting that Google wants to rank, but since you've already taken so many slots on page one, Google literally cannot rank them. But it also means no other competitor, Google will not rank any other competitor because we would have kind of like links in waiting. So you're liking that, future benefit. You want to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need these things on your way to becoming the number one boudoir photographer in your city. And you also like these three other future benefits, which are kind of the more we successfully execute S-cube methodology every single day, we're building up like these invisible thematic keyword columns plugged into our brand, kind of like columns, the Parthenon, Athens, Greece, or like the center of a bike tire, the hub and the spokes, kind of build out more spokes outward from us, which actually build a back-end AI mindshare. And we care about this because every time we increase this with the kind of repetition, authority, frequency, age of these keywords are being associated with through utilizing S-cube methodology, we're actually increasing the probability every single day that we're recommended here. AI overview, most premium placement, organic placement, cannot pay for this. And increasing that every single day we successfully execute, increase the probability that every single day we successfully execute S-cube methodology. And we are doing this same feature benefit as for the AI search apps, ChatGPT search, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Every day we successfully execute S-cube methodology, increase the probability we get brought up in search there. And last time I searched for boudoir photographer in a city, ChatGPT search recommended me 3. But I actually went to look, kind of like did a manual search, Google and Facebook, found out there's approximately 60 boudoir photographers in the city. So we know we got to get, one of those 3 AI search slots. And you're saying S-cube methodology is the only thing that helps achieve those invisible thematic keyword columns, which directly increases that probability. Now, since you understand my current plan is to work with one boudoir photographer per city, you decide to be a first mover and get all these initial benefits and future benefits, and more importantly, prevent your competitors from getting them. And when you've decided, that's because you also see, S-cube methodology is able to build you a brand approximately 8x faster than kind of any normal methods out there, because it'll be on just so many surfaces with much higher frequency, kind of enabling you to build, kind of 2 ways to resist market saturation over time, and also put a massive gap between you and all your current competitors and any future competitors. The gap's so large with page one Google search domination and those invisible thematic keyword columns that backend AI search mindshare to be recommended through AI search that competitors really basically will never be able to catch up. And you understand the converse, which is if a competitor goes with me and you get locked out of utilizing this strategy, and you'd actually have to rederive it for yourself. Actually, no, derive it for yourself the first time. You would then have to execute it as much as me and your competitor do. But we would already have a big gap on you. So when you equal our execution every single day, you're simply maintaining that gap. I mean, you're not gaining anything. So you'd actually have to double or triple our output. And when you do that, I mean, like first, you would not be 100% confident you've even derived S-cube methodology correctly in the first place to even feel confident putting in that much time to outcompete against us, to outcompete us. And you'd need like 80 hours in a day. So like, who's got that time? You're deciding, screw that. I've decided to be a first mover. I'm not missing this opportunity. So if that's you, shoot me a DM. My DMs are currently closed. So shoot me a DM when the hospital opens. The hospital is currently closed for new patient intake. But when the hospital does open, shoot us a DM. We'll see if you qualify for utilizing our S cubed methodology.